in order to be 100% aware of your own immortality, does that mean recognizing completely that God and God's love is immortal, therefore it can never be taken away once received to a certain point?
Well, you might think that's what it means, recognising, but actually it's more of a feeling. It's a feeling, emotional state, rather than an intellectual one. So it's like the difference between knowing that something is possible and actually doing it. Do you see what I'm saying? So let's, if I give you an example of that, let's say I say to you that teleportation is possible. You go, oh yeah, no worries, it's possible. There's an intellectual state there where you might even believe it's possible in your mind, but it's not truly something you know until you've actually done it, is it? Once you've done it, then you can say, I know for certain this is the state I'm in. Now, when you receive God's love to the point of becoming one with God, there's a difference between knowing that if you have received a part of God, you must become immortal, since God is immortal, and actually feeling that you are now immortal. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different experience, right? As you can imagine. The emotional experience is much more powerful, obviously, and therefore much more convincing as well. And when I say much more convincing, it's a complete conviction, not only based upon your idea or concept, but now upon the reality. You know you can't die after that point. Okay. And you know that God can't destroy you, even God can't destroy you without destroying a part of herself. See, before then, God could destroy you without destroying a part of herself. Does that make sense? God created you. It makes sense that God then has the ability to destroy you, does it not? But if a part of God is now in you, it's impossible for God to destroy you without destroying herself. So that's the theory of it. But actually feeling that in practice is very, very different than the theory of it. Mm. Because you imagine, would you worry about dying? Would you worry about people hurting you? Would you worry about anything, do you think, after that, really?
Nothing, yeah.
No, nothing. Because you know you're immortal anyway, it doesn't really matter. Mm. You wouldn't even be worried about what there is to learn anymore. You wouldn't be concerned about any of those things. Everything's driven by desire anyway. There's no such thing as fear after that point. That makes sense, doesn't it? No such thing as fear. Fear does not exist after that point. So that means even fear does not exist for you in your physical form or your spirit form either. Doesn't exist. You're now fearless as an emotional condition, yeah, because of the feeling of immortality. Ooh. So that was the state I felt in the first century on Earth, and naturally that meant that I wasn't afraid of anybody killing me, or I wasn't afraid of anyone getting upset with me, and I wasn't afraid of any of those things because, if someone wanted to throw me off the cliff, I wasn't afraid of that either, and that happened quite a number of times. So, I wasn't afraid of those conditions and I wasn't afraid of saying something that would make that happen even, or, trigger that person to do that to me. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't afraid of having to leave my girl because I knew I wasn't leaving her. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. Things like that. Yeah. Lovely spot to be in, obviously. And it only comes once you're at one with God. Yeah. Okay.